Being very entitled and controlling, narcissists have no difficulty stepping all over your personal boundaries. So that's why I put together an extensive video class called This Is Me. It has 25 videos, written documents, guided questions. I'm going to teach you how to have healthy boundaries. There's a link below, and I hope you'll find it to be quite therapeutic. I want to talk with you today about an informal category of narcissists that we can refer to, and it's this kind of group of individuals that can give narcissism a bad name, if that's what their goal is. It's what I refer to as the ego-strutting narcissist. And you can already guess what I'm talking about when I use the term ego-strutting. See, let's ask the question, would you say that narcissists have oversized egos? And it's kind of like asking, well, do fish get wet? Do skunks have odor issues? Yes, it's part of what goes with the territory when you're dealing with these individuals. It's highly important for narcissists to not just be admired or to appear as if they're a true somebody. They want to do so in such a way that also lets them think that they're better than. And that's what these ego-strutting kind of narcissists are out to achieve. They want to be a real somebody at your expense. And there are so many different ways that they can convey that message to you and to the world around. And it's going to be of utmost importance for you to see what their strategies are, what their tendencies are, because they want you in their ego-strutting to take the lower position. And that's not something that you and I can afford to do. When we have an ego-strutting narcissist, we're talking about someone who wants to openly portray how self-important they are. Now, I've listed many different ways that they may go about doing this, and so I'm going to go through a list of things that ego-strutting narcissists might be inclined towards, and I want you to think in your world how many people fit this kind of description. For example, when we talk about an ego-strutting narcissist, we're talking about someone who more than happily will remind you of their wins and their accomplishments. It's like, do you know all the terrific things there are to know about me? I don't have time, but let me just give you a few. And they're not at all bashful at letting you know how well they've done in their life. Now, along with that, these same ego-strutters are more than happy to remind you or other individuals of how you don't necessarily measure up. They'll gladly focus on other people's mistakes and failures, and when they do, they actually take glee in finding out what's wrong with individuals. Sometimes if you're the kind of person that says, I'm hurting, or I'm struggling, or things didn't go well, you might look over and notice that ego-strutting narcissist has that smirk that we've talked about before. They kind of have a grin. It's like, yeah, I know. And so they enjoy the lack of accomplishment on someone else, at least in the way that they interpret it. Likewise, another indicator of this particular pattern is these are the kind of people that will go ballistic whenever you clearly disagree with them. Let's suppose that you have a discussion about procedures or opinions or preferences, and it's clear that you're not in the same ballpark as them. They can come on really strongly with their harsh opinions and forcefulness and aggressiveness to the extent that there's lots of insult that's there. The implication is, do you know who I am? Do you know how important I am? You will not ignore me. And that's their ego-strutting, their anger and their harshness that they use when they do that. And now, a backwards way that they may go about the same kind of thing is they may just ignore you. Sometimes they're just going to overwhelm you with who they are. Other times it's like, you're not even worth my attention. And so they can ignore you whenever they know that you might want their attention or assistance. Another way that they will do their ego-strutting is that they may talk in repetition. If there's something that they want you to know and it's clear that you're not quite on the same page, they just keep coming back over and over and over and making the same point, and they're just trying to wear you down. It's like, I'm just going to get inside your head and I'm not going to relent until you say, okay, okay, okay. That's how they think. Likewise, these are individuals who give you more than your fair share of unsolicited advice. It's like, let me tell you what you need to do. Well, I didn't ask for what you want me to do. Well, let me tell you what I need to do. Well, let me tell you what you need to do anyway and how you need to think. And they're very free with giving criticisms and advice that you didn't ask for. Now, another way that these ego strutters will reveal themselves is they often complain about people who have screwed them over. It's like, can you believe this person over here? They didn't do me right. And actually they take delight in being able to dismiss other individuals. And it's part of that victim's mentality. It's like, yeah, they've made me a victim and boy, am I going to give them some vengeance that they're not going to forget. And so they can go in that kind of angle, which reflects their need to have that extra measure of importance. Now, right along with that, these are the kind of individuals that will openly hold people in contempt. They don't mind letting you know who their enemies are. They don't mind letting you know who they hate. And if possible, they want you to have the same contempt toward other individuals as they have. They just don't have any particular apology for feeling condescending toward other individuals. They deserved it. Of course, I don't. Likewise, these ego-strutting narcissists like to sidle up next to the it people. Yeah, they like to be in the position of favoritism. They like for other individuals to think, oh, if you're associated with that group, you must be a somebody. It's like, yeah, I really kind of am, aren't I? In addition, right along with that, they tend to be impressed by material gain. Many times they're drawn towards what I would refer to as look at me, clothing or body image or material kinds of things that they have. It's so important for them to be noticed as somebody that's a little bit extra and beyond what other individuals are. Ego-strutting narcissists are the type of individuals who prefer not to do menial chores, or if they do menial chores, it's like they want you to notice, hey, did you see? I actually emptied out the dishwasher, or I did you this favor, or I picked up this for you. And so they want to get extra credit whenever something really simple comes along. These are the kind of individuals that sometimes when they're giving gifts, it all depends on who the person is and what they're wanting to accomplish, they can give over the top gifts. Other times it may be that they don't give gifts at all and they don't acknowledge birthdays or anniversaries and things like that. It's like, you're not worth it. And so the way that they approach those kinds of events, one direction or the other can be an indicator of their high ego strutting kind of mentality. These are the kind of individuals who hold on to double standards. I get to be tardy. You better be on time. I get to spend money. You can't. And so that's their ego strutting. And I could go on and on and on with so many illustrations. I strongly suspect that some of you could add to that. If you want to put it in the comments section, feel free to do so. What's going on here? Why does anyone, especially these narcissistic, ego-strutting kind of individuals, why do they have such a need to hold themselves up as if they're high and mighty over anyone that shows up in their world? See, let's recognize when we have an ego is just simply you more or less portraying, this is who I am. This is what comprises me. And unfortunately, we can see that narcissists have such a depth of inadequacy and insecurity that they're constantly in compensation mode, and they constantly will build their sense of well-being on the shoulders of other individuals. Because of that, they tend not to be introspective individuals at all. They don't have good insight or awareness, and as a result, whatever they throw at you and whatever they insist as true is coming from a place of inadequacy. It's coming from a place of insecurity. That's just what they carry on the inside of themselves. Narcissists have excessive psychological neediness. They have obvious low self-esteem. They're empty on the inside. They're devoid of peace. They're devoid of true love. They may like limerence or they may like infatuation, but they don't understand the nature of love. They're devoid of integrity. They have a history where empathy was not well trained. And as a result, they don't make meaningful attachments. In their mind, it's like, why would I care about what's going on in you? Let's go back to my favorite topic, me. And they just, it's all about themselves. They're pervasively superficial, and in doing so, they gaslight themselves. Gaslighting is all about creating doubt in other individuals. Well, they actually have a lot of doubts on the inside of themselves. It's like, well, will people think well of me if they know this instead of that about me? Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll just portray the good stuff, but not the other stuff. And so their ego strutting is part of their own doubt system, although obviously with that low self-awareness, they're not going to say that. Their ego strutting gives them a false sense of control. Like, I'm the one who calls the shots, you don't. And it's like, well, that's not necessarily how it works. So as you try to figure out how you're going to respond to these shallow individuals, first, I think it's fair for each one of us to say, let's each one of us check our own ego-strutting, egotistical inclinations so that that's not something that we get caught up in. But then just know that these people are chronically not going to receive whatever you have to say. They're not open to any kind of input. Hold your breath. Don't even try to talk them out of whatever it is they're doing. They commit to no one who will not prop them up. And so your task is to say, well, you know what? I'm not going to be your prop. And so they're not going to like it, but at the same time, it's like, this is absurd how they treat people, and I don't want to be a party to that. Embrace humility. Let other people figure you out in their own timing, and let the decency that you bring to the equation show itself over time, and let steadiness be your calling card. And then when the narcissist comes along and says, well, I need you to know I'm better than you. I'm so better than you. You know what my response is? Okay. Just, okay. Move on. Now, I hope that this can give you some good insight and awareness about what you're dealing with. If you've not already done so, I would encourage you to hit that subscribe button. And we'll keep more videos coming in your direction. By the way, I present to you right back behind me Exhibit A for the non-ego-strutting narcissist. There he is right there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's be a little bit more chill like us, right? If you have a need for therapy, I would strongly encourage you to seek that out. I'm so pleased to be sponsored by the people at BetterHelp.com, and I know that when you deal with these kind of individuals, sometimes you need somebody that can help you objectify your reactions to them, and so go to the link below if that's a need that you would have. In addition, we have my therapeutic courses, and these are each very extensive. Each course has multiple videos with written documents and guided questions. Ready, Set, Connect about making good connections. This is me about establishing your boundaries, free to be finding yourself despite those controllers. We have my webinars and we have our podcast. We have our website with many articles, and then my books, plenty of resources. Okay, you're going to be associated at times with those ego-strutting narcissists, and let them be what they need to be. I don't feel the need to go into that space. Instead, I'm hoping that you can have more of a sense of emphasis on the things that matter most, dignity, respect, and civility. And in doing so, that's how you find your place of goodness, and that's how you find your place of satisfaction. And ultimately, you'll be able to be that person of peace that ego-strutting narcissist knows very little about.